Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, March 16, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by a ridge of high pressure, and that's been responsible for the warm temperatures, not to mention sometimes windy conditions across the Caribbean. We can also see the tail end of a cold front right there across the northeastern section of North Atlantic, and we can also see another cold front affecting portions of the southeastern United States. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front right there to the northwest of Africa, as well as the clouds associated with the other cold front right here off the east coast of the United States. You can also see numerous low-level clouds pushing from east to west across the Caribbean. Some of these clouds definitely have some amount of isolated showers within them. Even Jamaica got a taste of some of that today, and we're definitely going to be in for some more of that tomorrow. If we take a look at what took place across Jamaica today, we saw that the visible satellite image was posted at 7:36 a.m. on our Twitter page. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but our Instagram at weather.jamaica, or TikTok at weatherjamaica, or Facebook at weatherjamaica876. So if you don't see us posting here on our YouTube platform, we're definitely posting on one of those other social media platforms, so ensure that you follow us there. So we saw the visible satellite image that was posted showing some amount of clouds dotting the coastal areas of the north coast right there, sections of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, sections of Portland definitely got some amount of early morning rainfall. And we even had one of our commenters confirming the rainfall, Endangered Middle Class, stating right about that isolated showers up north. Then at 10:40 a.m. the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted, and they indeed showed that green and yellow that represents some amount of light to moderate rainfall still affecting sections of the north coast, and it incorporates some amount of eastern parishes in there as well, so sections of St. Thomas, maybe spilling into sections of St. Andrew as well. Then finally by afternoon we saw the last of it. We saw a huge swath of clouds coming in from the east, affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes with some amount of overcast skies and isolated shower activity. Most areas got in on overcast skies, but not necessarily the rainfall. But I'm pretty sure that the people who got rainfall are indeed grateful. And we indeed had our commenters confirming the rainfall. Chirp is stating hot and overcast for the last several hours here in Meadowbrook, so they're confirming the rainfall if not the overcast skies. M versus M stating overcast from this morning till now in Spanish Town. Ricardo James stating moderate showers in the hills of Glengoff, St. Catherine. Smoking Rum stating overcast from morning in Kingston. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we saw where we had those clouds still affecting sections of Portland, St. Mary, sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, sections of Hanover, Westmoreland as usual, clearing out across Portland and St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew by the evening hours as we saw the sun going down. And as it relates to the latest infrared satellite images, we do see those patches of clouds still passing through sections of the island, sections of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth still getting some amount of cloudy weather. As it relates to the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, we don't see much happening across the island at all. Those yellows and reds that we see is what we refer to as ground clutter. All of that is definitely a glitch. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see about 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. By 5 a.m. on Sunday, the temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow for Jamaica, we do see Jamaica embedded in some oranges. Lots of above normal temperatures as we are starting to head into spring. Spring is March the 21, so that's definitely gonna be on a Thursday, I believe. If I'm right, yes, Thursday would be the first day of spring, and we're already experiencing the spring like weather. Hopefully we get some spring showers to cool down these temperatures, some real showers to really cool down the temperatures, because as we can see a lot of oranges right here. The oranges, as we can see by the key on the right, is representative of up to even 3 degrees Celsius, maybe 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperatures for the month of March are about the same as 87.3 degrees Fahrenheit. And you take a look at the thermometer, 87.3 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So if we're going to be getting up to 3 to 4, maybe even 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures for tomorrow, you should be anywhere from 30 to 34 degrees Celsius at most. This map is showing the dry air across the Atlantic Basin, and we do see the area around Jamaica embedded in a lot of dry areas. We can see the yellows, the oranges, as represented by what we see at the key at the bottom. But the driest area is right there off the coast of Africa, as we can see the reds and the whites within those reds. As relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, Jamaica should be in the clear. We do see the lighter shades of brown, however, stretching all the way from Africa across the southern main development region into portions of the southeastern Caribbean and northeastern South America. But that's not that drastic of a vigorous plume of dust that would cause crazy hazy skies or trigger asthma or sinusitis for anyone. So we're indeed grateful for that. But we know June, July is definitely on its way, and that's when we usually receive the peak of the Saharan dust for us here in the Caribbean. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see the waves represented by what we see on the key on the right, with the lighter shades of blues and the darker shades of blues as we head up in the heights, 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, purples to burgundies, 2 to 3 meter wave heights. And what we see for tomorrow in terms of Jamaica's forecast, anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because the wind are going to be coming in from the east, more so from the east southeast for the most part. Anything that comes off of the sea from the east definitely going to affect sections of eastern Jamaica again, maybe sections of northern Jamaica as well, and who knows, maybe it might pile up across sections of western Jamaica where we see those blues. Then we have that afternoon isolated shower just like what we saw today. So let's take a look at the breakdowns. So as early as 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 a.m. Jamaica time, we see the blues that represent rainfall across sections of Portland, St. Thomas right there. Skipping ahead to about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time, we still see much of the same. The blues that represent rainfall across sections of northern and eastern Jamaica. Then by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, we do see the blues that represent rainfall. On the GFS, we see it across eastern, northern, and western Jamaica. The Euro showing more of it across section of eastern, central, western Jamaica, but we see a majority of the north coast embedded in all of that rainfall. So it kind of works out in a sense in terms of the consensus. So we're definitely going to be in for somewhat of morning rainfall, something similar to what we had today. That rainfall coming in from the east, then spreading across the island into central and western Jamaica. And the accumulated precipitation forecast maps confirm this, although it's not showing the same rainfall totals. We do see the consensus for eastern Jamaica, as we can see right here on the GFS, with the greens and the yellows across the eastern parishes, so St. Thomas, Portland. No consensus with central Jamaica like what the Euro is showing, but we do see some slight consensus with what western Jamaica is getting, even although the Euro is a bit more in terms of the rainfall totals, maybe up to 0.3 or 0.4 of an inch of rainfall over there. Either way, we're indeed grateful. We're in the final month of our dry season, and well, not necessarily the final month, maybe April is a bit dry as well, but we see that it's going up, as we can see on this bar graph, up to 140 millimeters of rainfall is what's expected in April. So yes, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get during this dry period in the month of March. It's definitely dry. Fire trucks are tired. Lots of bush and brush fires taking place. The grass is not that green at all. So yes, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get during March before we head into the first month of the rainy season or the final month of the rainy season. And so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low-level patches of clouds pushing from east to west across the Caribbean, affecting sections of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, sections of Jamaica. We see some of that affecting sections of Trinidad and Tobago, not to mention sections of Guyana, French Guyana, and Suriname, and as usual, the usual thunderstorm activity across sections of Colombia. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we don't see anything that drastic happening. Some leftover rainfall to the northwest of Puerto Rico associated with what they've been receiving for the past 24 hours. Some rainfall right there, some scattered showers to the east of Antigua and Barbuda. I'm going to start getting in on some of the action, not to mention Guadeloupe. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we don't see much taking place across Barbados or the Windward Islands for that matter. Only that isolated shower activity that we just mentioned affecting sections of Trinidad and Tobago that we saw on the satellite images. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we do see that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of Dominican Republic, sections of Colombia, Guyana, Suriname as well, but that's basically it in terms of the rainfall for majority of the basin. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, most of the birds that represent the Saharan dust should be affecting sections of the southeastern Caribbean, so sections of anywhere from St. Lucia southward, so St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, sections of maybe the eastern portion of the ABC Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana as well. But these are the lighter shades of browns. Although Saharan dust is definitely there, it is not that vigorous. We don't see those darker shades of brown that would indicate some very hazy skies or possibly triggering asthma or sinusitis issues in some person. Not saying that this plume can do that, but it's not that robust, and we're indeed grateful. But we know by the time we head into the months of June and July, it's definitely going to be quite a vigorous plume pushing off of Africa. As it relates to the wave forecast for Sunday, we do see the usual majority of the Caribbean in some blues, as we can see by the key on the bottom right, and we know these blues are representative of anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights. The purples representative of 2 to 3 meter wave heights, and we do see the purples east of the Windward Islands right there, not to mention to the north of Colombia as usual, and that's because the winds are strongest there, coming in from the east, averaging maybe up to 25 knots in those spots to the north of Colombia. Everywhere else where we see greens, we know that's representative of anywhere from 15 to 20 knots, and we see the general direction is from the east. As relates to the rainfall forecast, we're looking for isolated shower activity in store for sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. If they're not already receiving that rainfall, they're definitely going to be receiving that rainfall within the next 24 hours. Sections of Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of Trinidad and Tobago that's already receiving that rainfall right now. Guyana as well. We see some of that into Suriname. Not to mention the thunderstorm activity that we just saw across sections of Colombia, sections of Panama and Costa Rica might get in on the action as well. Not to mention sections of the eastern portions of the Yucatan Peninsula. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.